Hello everybody, you're wondering, that isn't Minecraft. What is going on? Well, it's actually Kerbal Space Program, a game that I very much so enjoy. So, you can just see me panning over this rocket, gonna launch it here. You're wondering, what is it I am building? I'm building a big space station, and hopefully it'll be one that can travel long distances. So this is going to be one big giant sped up video because there's so much time without the sped up, and I don't think you'd really want to watch it for multiple hours straight. So I'm going to get this bad boy up into an orbit. So once I get this thing in orbit, this is going to be like the central core of the space station. Every other part will eventually come to dock onto this, or one of the parts docked onto this part. Now, when I was building this design, I was kind of curious because, I never tested this. I never built one prior to make sure it worked fine. But I knew that those ion engines worked pretty good for having limited amount of fuel and being able to travel far distances. So my idea then was to get a bunch of these small little ion engine rocket things or whatever and put them on the back side of the ship and use just a bunch of them as the thrust. And I knew they take up a lot of electricity, so eventually you'll end up seeing I actually send up a big solar and power station, kind of a module to it. It had 6 of those giant XL solar arrays. So here you're going to see me launching that giant solar array module thing. Also forgot it has some monopropellant stuff on it too, so that I can kind of maneuver the ship a little bit easier. But you'll see me up here now. Now you're wondering probably what I'm doing right here, why I detach this one module, and it's actually I wanted on the space station there to be only these 6 giant solar XL arrays. So in this extra little module that I detached, that I'm just kind of flying down into Earth now, that's actually just because it was a temporary thing to just make sure that the station stays powered. And I don't really need that anymore since I have plenty of solar panels up there, so I just deorbit it and get rid of it. Now this next thing here, this is like a fuel module. There's a bunch of xenon gas in there, and now I'm just going to kind of repeat it 4 times over. Now this next part here is like a big giant battery kind of a deal, and it's because since these things use up a bunch of electricity, I want to have a bunch stored up in the craft so that I can, because I don't think I can keep up with it with the solar arrays. So the point of having all the batteries in is that I kind of drain the batteries, recharge, drain the batteries, recharge, drain the batteries, recharge over and over again. And also, since the solar panels will work worse when they're further away from the sun, this will help them charge up so I can fly for longer. Now this final part here is like the main area where the crewmen sit. I only have the one guy in there currently, and now I'm just going to kind of show flight test sort of a deal. I'm just going to try and get over to being in a moon orbit. After a couple minutes of putting out some thrust, I managed to get to a moon encounter. So once I got to the moon encounter, I just kind of waited and tried to decelerate around the moon, in which I ended up actually successfully getting into a moon orbit. So this thing has enough to be able to get into the orbit of a smaller planet, it's a good thing for me. I think so. And it did use up a decent amount of fuel, but there's still plenty of fuel where I could go now and try to get to other planets in the system, or even try to crash into the sun. As always, thanks for watching, and subscribe to the channel for more Kerbal Space Program videos. Later.